Hello there, I'm Chef D Malfi and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. I'm really excited to be back because this is day 4 of week 1 of our December Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. We're featuring recipes straight out of this cookbook, you guys, and that's right here. This is a downloadable cookbook. I like to print it out and make it look like a little book and staple it in the center. And I am loving the amount of excitement around this book. This is our 5th issue since we've gone plant-based and since we've built this community, and it's really been super fun. These recipes in this book happen to be super festive and very seasonal for the winter months. And so today is our snack day because it's Thursday, and every Thursday we love to make snacks to prepare ourselves for the weekend ahead, and today's no exception. We're going to be making fruit and nut coconut rolls. These are so easy. They are so nutrient dense, and they are just a little bite of energy if you need it. So let's get going. And you know the drill. Or if you don't know the drill, let me tell you, if you have a question along the way about plant-based eating or living or this recipe or recipes that we've done in the past, or comment, anything, pop it in the comment box and I'd love to engage with you and tell me where you're watching in from today. All right, so let's make our fruit and nut coconut rolls. Let me explain the ingredients. You're not gonna believe how easy. First things first, we need some dates. Now today I'm going to use fancy medjool dates. That's what these are here. And I just wanted to show you the box. These are wonderful. These are a dried fruit. Here in the US, it's really hard to find fresh dates, and fresh dates don't perform. They don't actually blend up and aren't as moist as dried dates. So generally speaking, whenever we call for dates, we're always calling for dried dates. And here in the US, fancy medjool dates are the varietal that we use. I get these at Trader Joe's, but you can find them anywhere, at any health food store and even any regular grocery store now. And usually it's found in the produce section, kind of where the citrus is. Somewhere in the produce section, you're going to find a box or maybe a bulk bin of dried dates. And I want you to look for the box that has the juiciest, the most moist looking dates that you can possibly find. And so I want to show you my dates today. I'm going to use a cup of these and just take a look in the camera. Look how seriously moist and juicy and plump these look, right? This is what you want. You want super delicious, large and moist dates. You want them to look kind of plump, all right? That's a really good indicator that they're going to be sticky and sweet and so good. So you want a cup of these, and you want to get dates that are not pre-pitted, all right? So if you don't learn anything from this episode for this recipe and you don't take anything from it, just take one thing. That's this: don't buy pre-pitted dates, because they tend to be super dry. They don't give you that nice caramelly, kind of sweet, moist, plump juiciness that the unpitted or the regular dried dates with pits still left in will give you. All right, so we're going to pit these up, and they're really fun to use. I want to say hello to Cindy and Diane. Ladies, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I also want to use some California walnuts today. I'm going to show you in the overhead. I get big chunks or large pieces. These are whole and half pieces, but you can get, if you want the baking pieces, they're bits. I love to store mine in a jar just like this. I'll show you in the overhead cam as well. The reason I store them in a glass container or a jar that is clear is so that I can see them when I open up my pantry, and it reminds me to put them in a lot of different foods like salads, or throw them on top of, as garnish, as like a Parmesan, a nut Parmesan. Well, what did you say, Danny?
Trail mix.
A trail mix. Danny loves to make his trail mix. You can just throw a bunch of nuts and dried fruit and maybe some chocolate chips, like vegan chocolate chips, into a bag. Amazing. I love these. And you can store all of your nuts in glass containers. That's my tip for you. You can find these glass containers on my Amazon shop. I'm just telling you because I love to showcase what I use in my studio and what I use in my kitchen, so that you can have it at home in case you want it. All right, the next thing that we need is our super duper high protein fuel. Can anyone guess what we might be using? I'm going to give you a hint. It's a seed, and the birds love it. All right. It's a hemp seed, one of my absolute favorite foods now. I adore hemp hearts, also known as hemp seeds. They go by both names. Here's what they look like in the camera. They're like little white and green seeds, and they're wonderful, jam-packed with protein. These are really nice and soft and chewy. They're not overly crunchy. They're really kind of soft and delicious. They kind of melt away in anything that you use them in. I like to use them in lots of different things. I like to throw throw them on salads, throw them in baked goods, put them in my smoothies. Even use them just as a garnish for different types of foods, anything really. And they're going to give you added protein. So only in 3 tablespoons, you're going to get 10 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. I always say the birds have it right. The birds know what's up when it comes to seeds. Seeds are going to give you the highest amount of protein for the least amount of calories. Now, I myself am not a calorie counter at all. I've never been one, and I probably never will be one. Not probably. I won't be one. I don't like the idea of counting when it comes to my food, but I love to know what my food actually has in it, like in terms of the macronutrients, so that I can be aware that like hemp seeds, super high in delicious protein, and dates, super high in, they're very carbohydrate rich, but super high in fiber as well. And then walnuts, this is going to give you iron, it's going to give you potassium, it's going to give you a lot of fiber and a little protein and great fat. So lots of good knowing when you understand what's in your food. And then you can kind of make your choices however you want. And then the last ingredient is a little coconut, and I'm going to use 2 types of coconut flake here. This is unsweetened shredded coconut. And I love shredded coconut, and I need it to be high quality. So here's where I get mine. I buy mine straight from the Almond Cow company. That's the company that I use, that machine that I use to make plant milk. They also sell nuts and oats and things for making your plant milk. But I wanted to show you, they come in really big bags like this. This is 32 ounces, so 2-pound bag. And the reason I love this coconut is because it's super high quality. It has a couple great labels on here: the non-GMO project verified, the USDA organic label, and then a really cool one that's not as well known called the glyphosate residue free label. So this is telling me that within this bag, this is very high quality coconut, and it's a great price. So you're buying in bulk, so you're going to get a way better price. It's can be very costly to buy coconut and nuts and seeds, especially if this is one of your main food sources now, if you've gone plant-based or vegan. So you really want to buy high quality, and you want to save your money where you can. So I highly recommend check out almondcow.com. They are the nut milk maker, the machine that I use and love to make almond milk. If you want to see me make almond milk, I made it on Monday's episode of this week where we made our gingerbread pancakes. And it was really a fun recipe. So you can see me demo how to make plant milk out of my almond cow. And I use a recipe for delicious plant milk straight out of my Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. It is one of the staple recipes within this cookbook. And this milk is a blend of coconut and cashew, and it's very similar to whole milk. It's thick and creamy and delicious and so good. But today we're just going to use the coconut shreds from Almond Cow. And I also need the second type of coconut that I'm using is coconut oil. So there's 2 types of coconut oil on the market. You can get extra virgin or traditional coconut oil. This tends to have the flavor and the aroma of coconut, or you can get refined. Now this is the green label. This is from Trader Joe's. The green label for them is refined. The white label is regular. The refined coconut oil has very little aroma and very little flavor of coconut. So it's all that flavor and essence has been stripped out of it so that it more is like a cooking fat. This is great for if you want to use this on your hair or your body as a moisturizer. Whatever. I'm thinking like you just got a fresh tattoo and you want to rub coconut oil on it. Nope, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So that's all we need. This is the fruit and nut coconut rolls, not very many ingredients. And we need a really good food processor. And guess what? Christmas came a little early this year. I finally got myself the food processor and blender of my dreams. I'm sorry, Ninja. I kicked you out of the studio and I replaced you with the Vitamix. This is the Ascent Vitamix and I love it. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it right now because I'm going to do a whole Amazon live. Here it is. Look at this gorgeous red color. Oh my gosh. I'm totally in love with this. The cool thing about this is that this is the Ascent Vitamix, meaning it has a self-detect base. The base is you get one base, it's self-detecting. So it comes with multiple different pieces of equipment on the top. So I'm using the food processor today and it comes completely off. This is the food processor. And then when you're done with the food processor and you want to make a smoothie, you can pop the blender right onto it. And that's all for now. I'm going to tell you more about it on Amazon, right? And I'll tell you about that later when we'll do that. But for right now, we're going to use and actually test out the Vitamix. The first time I'm using this food processor. So let's get into it. I'm going to actually put everything right into my food processor bowl. You're gonna bear with me because the first time you use it, it's like, okay, it's heavy, it's kind of clunky, you're not really sure how to do it. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so first things first, let's pit these dates. Here we go. I'm gonna take my date with my thumb, I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna remove this little top here. That piece is really sharp. That's like where the flour grows, and then the pit. Remove that, throw it into the food processor. Okay, I really want to take my time with this. I want to remove all of the pits, and you do not want to miss any pits here because that will destroy your food processor blade, and it is can be super sharp. And you don't want that. So you want to really take your time. Some of these dates are going to have a pit only, and some of them are going to have the pit as well as the top. And that top is actually really super duper sharp. This is the top that I'm talking about. I'm going to hold it in my palm and show you. Can you do an overhead? There we go. That. Some of them are just going to have the pit. That's the pit. And some of them are going to have this little sharp tip on the top. You got to take both off. You have to see. Some of them only have the pit though, okay? So you have to look. You really have to kind of look at your date. And I like to buy unpitted dates because when you open them up, you can see kind of all the elements inside. You can see how sticky it is. You can see how stringy it is. All of that matters. And you can determine how little or how much of the dates that you want to use in your fruit and coconut rolls right here, just depending on how thick and delicious and moist your dates are. All right, so that goes in. The dates and the tops, I'm just going to throw these away, put them on the side. All right, next, I want some hemp seeds. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. So remember, I said only a few tablespoons. I said about 3 tablespoons has 10 grams of protein. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons here. And then I'm also going to use the unsweetened shredded coconut. Throw that right in. If you guys want the quantities, they're right in my cookbook. I'm kind of whipping through this. And then the walnuts, of course, I'll just tell you half a cup and half a cup, right? Really, really simple. Throw that right in. Now, the coconut oil, I think I'm going to use extra virgin coconut oil because I don't mind the aroma and the flavor of the coconut oil. But if you really don't want it to, here we go, it tastes like coconut, you can use the refined. And I just want a tablespoon of this. This is going to be the glue, right? Throw that in. Okay, now I think the best way to go about doing this in the food processor is to just give it a pulse. So I'm going to do that. Hi, Karen. Good to have you. All right, put my top on. Yep, and I'm going to start pulsing it. Wow, you've got some power. All right, now I'm going to pulse it. That was about to literally fly off the table. Give it a good pulse. I love this machine. It's got the pulse function here, and it's got the just turn on function here. Now I'm looking for the right consistency. The cool thing about this is that you can actually let this go as far as you want. You can actually get it to a paste form, or you can kind of keep it chunky. For me, I really kind of like it more on I like it when it has a little consistency. So more on the chunky side. The other thing I want to mention is that you'll notice in the recipe, you can keep the unsweetened coconut shreds out and actually just roll your balls in the coconut shreds. But I'm going to put my coconut shreds in here. There's lots of different ways to do this because that's my business and I want to do it that way. As Tabitha Brown says, that's my business. And so I want to just keep the coconut inside, and then I'm going to roll them in hemp seeds for even more protein. Yeah, this looks great. You know that it's done when it starts to look really sticky and everything starts to clump together. And I think we're basically there. I'm going to open this and just check. I don't think I'm opening it right, but I'm going to learn. Okay. Let's look. Okay, the rule of thumb, how do we know it's done? How do we know it's like sweet enough and sticky enough to hold itself? You just kind of grab it with your fingers and kind of pull it into a ball. And if it kind of stays, it's good. Yeah, this looks really good. Now let me put it into a work bowl and then we'll roll it out. So I'm going to keep my hand on the blade and then just kind of let everything fall right into the bowl. And I like to keep my hand on the blade so that it doesn't fall out and cut me. There we go. Perfect. Yum. All right. Now, and I want another bowl right next to me with the hemp seeds so that I can roll my balls up. Okay. So now we're going to actually have that full 10 grams of protein. Actually, we're probably going to go even more, probably 15, because we're going to use a couple more tablespoons here. All right, this looks fantastic. I'm going to roll a few balls here, and I think I'm going to put on some gloves just to make it easy. There we go. And you don't have to put on gloves, but it gets so sticky, and it's much easier to roll it when you have a gloved hand. And I use the kitchen gloves, you guys. These are non-latex, so it's great. They're kitchen safe. And then I want a little plate. I think I want to put them on this plate. So here we go. I'm going to grab a little bit. Now the size, it's up to you. All you want to know about the rolling is you need to squeeze it first, and then you can roll it. Okay, you can't just start rolling it because it'll kind of crumble and it will fall apart. But squeeze it first, and I like to make mine kind of like, I don't know, between a golf ball and a ping pong ball. Danny, is this a ping pong ball shape? You think?
Yes.
That's about a ping pong ball, right?
I think about the same size, ping pong and golf ball.
I don't know. You tell me.
Looks like that.
Okay, it looks like that. Cool. You can make them any size, though, you want. Yeah, let's do a question. Okay, Alina asks, can you use your almond cow pulp to make these? Absolutely. Good question. Thank you so much for mentioning it, because on Monday, I was ripping through the recipe. It was going really fast, and I forgot to mention that you can use your almond pulp or your nut pulp of any kind in lots of different recipes. So you're reading my mind, girlfriend. Yes, you can use your nut pulp in this. Here's word of the wise, though. Lots of different nut pulps are going to give you lots of different consistencies. So if you're making almond milk, that nut pulp is really, really good for things like like energy balls and bars and things like that. If you're using macadamia nut pulp, it's one of the pulps that is the loosest. So it's going to be super, super liquidy and loose. It's never going to be super thick. That one I might just use in my baked goods or my smoothies. And then coconut and cashew, they tend to be a little bit kind of in between the thickness of the almond pulp and the thickness of the macadamia nut pulp. So depending on how much coconut and how much cashew you use, it can be okay for making your energy balls. But I tend to use my nut pulp a lot in baking. So every single week I save my batch of nut pulp. And I usually wait till I have 2 batches, and then I will bake off a batch of 12 muffins. And I love to make nut pulp muffins. It's my favorite way to use them because they're kind of foolproof. You can add the nut pulp into a bowl and then add any other ingredients that you want. Seriously, anything, like a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, some salt, and then your spices and your flavors. I like to add dried fruit. I like to add, sometimes I add oat flour. Sometimes I add whole wheat flour. Sometimes I add all-purpose flour. Sometimes I don't add any flour. Sometimes I add grated carrots. So it really just depends. Like, what are the flavors that I want? I've done oat bran with my nut pulp. So oat bran muffins. I've done blueberry muffins. I also use it for making scones, crackers, cookies. So there's lots and lots and lots of uses for the nut pulp. And as long as it's dry enough, I would say you can use it for making these fruit and nut coconut rolls or any energy bars. Thank you so much for that. Do you have an almond cow, Lena? Do you use yours? Do you have one, and do you love it and use it? I think there are some people here. Who here has an almond cow? I think that Diane might. I know Danny's raising his hand in the studio. Danny has one. Well, Danny, you never use it. I do. But yes, we have one. Oh, Cindy asks a good question too. Dan, will you put that on the screen, please? Yeah. Could you add some cacao to this recipe? Would that be good? Absolutely. I'm really glad that you mentioned that as well. You can use cocoa nibs or you can use unsweetened cocoa powder. But cacao in and of itself is really antioxidant rich, and it's going to give you a little bit of energy. So if you wanted to add cocoa nibs or cacao nibs, you can do that. That's just going to give you a nice crunch. And honestly, Cindy, I would put them in the food processor and I would pulse it, because cacao nibs tend to be kind of big on the larger side, and maybe you want to pulse them up so that it's like little bits of cocoa flavor or the cocoa nib flavor in your balls. You can really truly add anything that's going to give you energy. So dried fruit, obviously cocoa or cacao nibs. You could do lots of different types of different nuts. So pecans, pistachios, lots of different seeds, chia seed, hemp seed, flax seed, lots of different things. Yay, Alina said she just bought an almond cow. She can't wait for it to come in. All right, sister, I'm glad that you bought one. You're going to love it. Absolutely. And I use it all the time. I was really scared to buy the almond cow initially because of the investment of money. It can be an expensive machine for some people. Certainly was for me when I first bought it. And now that I have it, I save myself money because I'm no longer buying boxed plant milk or bottled plant milk in market, which I don't know if you know this, is the price that they actually increase plant milk to in market is like sometimes an increase of 100 to 150% what it costs to make it. So that's like, you can really spend that can be really spendy after time, right? So I think I'm going to stop here. Oh gosh, why not just finish? I have like what, 1 more, 2 more? I'm going to finish. Okay. And the cool thing about this too is, oh shoot, I should have showed you. Okay. Here's what I like to do. Have you ever seen those freeze-dried berries or fruit in the grocery store, kind of near the dried fruit, like freeze-dried blueberries? Here's what I love. I just recently discovered this. You can put any freeze-dried fruit in a blender, a coffee grinder, or a food processor, and you can pulse it up till it's a dust. And it will be this, like if you're using blueberries, you're going to create a blueberry powder. It's a beautiful blue color. And you can dunk your energy balls or your fruit and nut balls in this blueberry powder or your dried fruit, your dehydrated fruit powders. It's awesome. It has a great color and it's really fun to use. And you can absolutely do that. And I've done these before. I did a corporate wellness webinar with Danny's company, actually. And we made mocktails and we made little kind of brownie bites that instead of using instead of using hemp seeds and coconut oil, we used unsweetened cocoa powder and dates and a little peppermint oil. And so it tasted like brownies. And then we dunked one side of the brownie in blueberry dust and one side of the brownie in raspberry dust. And again, this is dehydrated blueberries and raspberries. And it was so beautiful. It had like a line of blue and a line of pink, and it was gorgeous. All right, we are done. These are gorgeous. These came out great. I'm really happy with that. And look, easy cleanup. Done. You guys take a look at it. Fruit and nut coconut rolls coming at you, coming for you. Who wouldn't want a bite of these? These look really, really good. I will say that these don't change their flavor much as they sit, but I will also say that if you put them in the refrigerator and then keep them in the refrigerator and just take one out as you want a snack, they're really great cold. I really kind of prefer them cold, I think, because they stay together more. But I'm not going to wait until they're cold or chilled. I'm actually going to give these a little taste right now. Before I do, I'm going to give this food a little gratitude. Thank you, food. And thank you, God. Here we go. Oh, I sound like Santa. These are so good. My gosh. Sorry about the yelling. I get really excited. Can I just show you what it looks like in the inside? You see that? You guys, it's so, so good. It's decadent. It's chewy. It's soft and kind of crispy a little bit from the hemp seeds on the outside. I'm so glad I did hemp seed on the outside as opposed to coconut flakes. I think I like this much better. And it just it's going to give me so much energy. I can tell already. It's sweet. It's really easy to kind of like chew and swallow. It's so yummy. I'm glad that I used the regular coconut oil too, because it has that coconut flavor and I absolutely love it. Yum. I have to finish it. I'm sorry. I have to. You guys make these. Please make them. And I know you're going to make them in your own. Yeah, Cindy, try them. You're going to love these. I know what you will. So good. And the Vitamix. Thank you, Vitamix. No, Vitamix did not buy me this machine. I bought it for myself as a Christmas gift, but I'm just saying thank you because you made a beautiful machine that I love. You guys, thank you for being a part of this community. If you aren't already a part of our Facebook group, please join us. We are 3,000 people and growing. I tell you the numbers because I'm super excited about it. We just started this Facebook group back in May, and we are, was it May, Danny? No, we couldn't have started it in May because we started it in August. Because that was when we released our first cookbook. So join our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. It's free. It's awesome. The people in this community are really great, and they're from all over the world. So you're going to get global perspective on plant-based eating and living, which I think is what differentiates between our Facebook group and many others. Is that they're people from literally all walks of life and all different parts of our world. And so I'm proud about that. You guys, thank you so much for being here this week. This is our second to last recipe. Tomorrow will be our final recipe of the week. I'm going to be making with you pumpkin pie pudding. You do not want to miss it. Please tune in. And if you can, please give me a little like, love, and share these videos with people that you love, that people that are interested in going plant-based or vegan. Maybe they're still animal eaters and that's okay, but they just want to add more plant foods into their diet. Share this content with them, please. And then go ahead and give me a follow on all social media platforms at my new handle, at Chef D Malfi. I'm very excited to be making it consistent throughout. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Peace.